Happy Hump Day, people. I hope your Wednesday is going extremely well. I hope you have enjoyed the first part of your day, and hopefully the rest of your day will continue to go smooth sailing. Today, I'm going to talk about mother wounds and how important it is for you to heal those traumas, okay? When we think about mother wounds, your first relationship usually is your relationship with your mother. When you're born and as you are growing, is typically your closest relationship. If there is any sort of dysfunction or detachment or any sort of abuse experience at that level where there should be bonding, if there is disconnecting or detachment or any level of harm done to you, you can suffer a wound. It can be very traumatic. And this is the key thing to remember here about mother wounds. Mother wounds can be healed whether that mother is still present here in the earth plane or not. So don't ever think that you can't heal from something if that person is no longer here. Okay, you can still heal from that. What is also important to understand is when you are trying to deal with what you have experienced as a child, a woundedness or a trauma from your mother, it is important to recall or to try to remember the things that got you to that point. And what I mean by that is once you've recognized that you have been wounded and that is the level or the stage of the wounding, all right? That's where you know it came from. Begin to unearth it from that stage. To be more specific, if you're trying to heal, pointing out every single thing that the person did or that the mother or mother figure did doesn't always get you to the place of healing. After you have identified it, repeating the identification doesn't get you to the healing. Understanding that you can get past that identification gets you to the healing. Okay? Another point to remember, and it's iffy. It just depends on your particular situation. So always take what is being said as according to your situation and as according to my own opinion regarding mother wounds and the healing of them. One thing that could possibly help you in understanding why your mother wounded you, because that relationship could be pivotal and is also key in your relationships a lot of times that you have with other women. It sets a tone. All right? So as you become more aware, as you grow, as you learn, if you continue to feel that detachment, that abuse, that abandonment, that lack of nurturing, it begins to set a pattern of thought within you. Okay, because that's the most experience you have with bonding starts there. All right, and it can affect your relationships with other women in your life. All right, you want to make sure you deal with it so that you can have healthy relationships with other women despite being wounded. All right. Another thing to you may want to consider is how your mother or mother figure was raised. If you have access to that information, a lot of times woundedness is repeated generationally. Okay, and sometimes it is important to understand how your mother or mother figure was raised, and it will begin to shed light on how they treated you. It does not excuse the detachment, abandonment, lack of nurturing, any sort of abuse. It doesn't excuse it, but everything has a root, okay? And if your mother or mother figure never learned a healthy way to connect, then the pattern will continue. It needs to stop with you. All right? So those are some of the things you might want to just think about as you're healing that wound, as you're delving in. I did a post earlier this morning about energetic excavation. As you unearth, okay, why it happened the way it happened. And some would say, well, I don't need to know why. Well, that why might give you a little bit of peace regarding how you have thought about yourself because of the way that you've been treated. Because you take on a different perspective when you realize you've been treated a certain way because a person that treated you that way was treated that way by others. Okay? And they didn't learn a healthier way to treat you. So sometimes a different perspective comes into play. It doesn't condone it. It doesn't condone it. Key is to realize that your healing is about you being healthy. Whether that person ever acknowledges it, whether they ever issue an apology, whether they ever say they did it or they can deny it the rest of their days. But the healing is for you. And for you to really tap into the greater understanding of how precious you are and how valid and important you are, despite a rough go after your birth. Okay? So I hope some of those things have helped you guys today. I want you to continue to have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Toodles.